everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree burlap trees. I'm going to show you two ways. The first one is one sort of what we did, and the second one's inspired by these trees that were $40 for two of them. Now we're just going to use burlap, but if you want to use burlap and mix it up with some plaid ribbon, that would look great. One of the trees we're going to redo is this sort of layered one from the Dollar Tree, and the other one is this regular conical tinsel one that they have every year. The DIY for how to make the ribbon, the ruffled ribbon, I will show you. It will be linked in the description box down below. And for that, you're going to need some of the Dollar Tree's little lace ribbon, as well as some burlap. This is the burlap with the wire edge. We're going to also use that for the ribbon tree. And then as well as a bit of jute. Of course, you're going to need your glue gun and scissor, but you guys know about that. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is going to de-tinsel this thing. Now, I like to save all the parts. So I took the paper off the bottom. It was held on by ribbon. I pulled off all of the little sparkly snowflakes and all of the rhinestones and the star off the top. And then I de-tinseled it. This one was quite easy. It doesn't really have those nubs, quite as many nubs as the kind that go back and forth. So that was really quite simple. So the first thing I do is going to start off by putting some burlap around the stem. This is just really simple. I think we've done this like a million times. But maybe this is your first time seeing it. So we're just basically going to start off with a little bit of hot glue. And when it comes to wrapping something that goes like, basically that gets wider, you want to start with the skinny part first. Otherwise, you will have your jute running up. See how the bottom is sort of like a semi-conical shaped? If you started with the widest part and tried to jute up, every time you tried to jute around that middle section, it would just start creeping up towards the trunk. So you want to start from the skinny part down towards the big part. Now, this stand only has like 4 prongs to glue to, so it started to take on a little bit of a square shape, but that was okay. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You could just wrap the dickens out of it if you want. You also could cover it with burlap. I just wanted to go for jute just to have a little bit of a differentiation in the texture. But then, just glue as you go along. If you feel like it's slipping, if you feel like it's not holding onto its own place where it belongs, just do as you can. Now, while I'm doing this, I wanted to tell you guys about the ruffle. So I had some of the burlap ruffle ribbon left over from the DIY last Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day 2018, which is coming on 2 years, because I kind of like saved those things. It was quite a bit of it left over. But what I did at the time is I made 2 rolls of it, and I had a good fair bit left over. At first I wasn't sure if it was gonna be enough. I thought maybe I would do a layer of just burlap ruffle and then burlap with the lace and then burlap ruffle. But turns out I had enough to do all 3 layers. Now, as far as the bottom layer is concerned, I ended up making 2 ruffles on the bottom layer, basically giving the bottom layer 2 layers. The reason I did this is because it was quite wide. If I would have stretched the ruffle out enough to cover it, then it would have lost its ruffle, if that makes any sense. So there is sort of this midway brace that goes across. I did 1 ruffle halfway, and then I did the other ruffle back towards the neck. And all I did was wrap it. I went around to the back, cut it off, and glued it, went up to the next layer. I also I took this wood sticker from the Dollar Tree and I glued it on as a star. I actually put the glitter towards the back so it kept that rustic farmhouse feel. But if you like that glam look, you go ahead and glitter the front. And that's how it is. It's really, really simple. Once you make the ruffle ribbon, the rest is just like wrapping the stem was the hardest part. Now, we've worked with these conical trees before. This is, we did 2 makeovers on them last year on our channel. This one is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to take some wire edge burlap. And what we're going to do is leave it on the roll, okay? We're going to lay out the end. We're going to fold the end in and create sort of a triangle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold that. Basically, if we were cutting a rectangle, we're going to fold both cut edges into the middle, if that makes any sense. And that's going to create these triangles, and that's what the whole tree is going to be covered with. So if you didn't get that right away, you can rewind this. But once you start making them, it's going to be so easy, you're going to fly right through them. Now, this is high speed film. I am flying right through them, but not quite flying this fast. But what I was showing you in the beginning, I'm not gluing them. The wire edge does hold them on, but it won't hold them on permanently, and it won't hold them on if you bump it around. So we do end up gluing them down. But I wanted to just show you really quick sort of how it looks, so you can kind of get the idea of what we're going to do. All right, so you see there, it's starting to create the tree. This particular tree works really cool because it has 6 sections on the bottom, so you get to do it in threes. When you get towards the top, it's just the very, very tip of the cone only has basically 4 sections, so you end up having to have like it be a little bit askew, but it really does look pretty anyway. So just basically what we're going to do is create these triangles, lay them on between the 2 uprights of the section, and you're going to fold the top corners in and just give a little bit of glue, and then kind of let the wire edged corners of the ribbon hug those plastic uprights. And you're going to hug them with a little bit of glue, and you're just going to be careful. I like to put the glue on, let it sit for just a second so it cools off a little bit, but not too much when I'm working with fabric, and then pinch it off. And then I just do every other one and then switch it to every opposite one and repeat that all the way up to the top. This particular project ended up using 1.5 rolls of the burlap ribbon and 1 tree. So this was about a $2.50 project. However, if you did want to make it look more like the inspiration, Dollar Tree does sell some plaid ribbons, which you could use. They're about the same width. You just want to make the same exact triangles and maybe throw one in every second layer or something. It wasn't really just about 50-50 that tree, but you could do 50-50 if you want. I thought it was a really pretty tree, but I just really wanted to create it more neutral with what I have going on my mantle. I really want to go get another one and make more. I'd be honest with you. It was such a fun project, and I am really curious to see how it would look in either like the black and white buffalo check sort of gingham color. I would love to make one with the mixed media, sort of the buffalo check and the burlap. I think that's what I really want to do the most. But I really try to keep these projects using mostly Dollar Tree products if I can. You guys know, if you've been around for a while, you know that I shop at Hobby Lobby and get ribbons and stuff too, at Walmart and all the things, but I try to keep it at best I can to using just Dollar Tree products. But you can always just take the inspiration and run with it. Okay? So this is just going to continue on to the top. Now, I wasn't sure how to deal with the top. At first I was thinking I would have to make smaller triangles, or that I might want to make smaller triangles. But when I did, I realized that I didn't like the way it was disproportionate. I didn't like the way that the smaller triangles had taken on a different angle, if that makes any sense. So I just continued to use the same triangles throughout the whole project. There is one at the very, very top, not the very, very top, but the second to last row, where I did take that same triangle and fold it even more and stick it in there, but I decided I didn't like it. I left it, but I just, to show you guys, yeah, it doesn't look good. And then I just continued on to the rest. Now, obviously, every time we try to do a DIY on this channel, we try to do something that's going to be more economical than an inspiration piece. But sometimes we're inspired by things that are not for sale. Just other people have posted it on Pinterest and stuff. So I made a ruffle tree last year, 2 years ago, with the raw edged burlap from the Dollar Tree. And I just wanted to do something a little bit more updated. So I wanted to stick with this more refined burlap for both of these DIYs. The other one's really nice. It's much more rustic. This I feel like is a little bit more modern farmhouse twist to it. I don't know how many different things we can do with all this burlap, but boy, we sure do try, don't we? Now, of course, to cut price down even more, you could always attach these to a paper cone, like we made last week with the paper cone trees, or 2 weeks ago. If you wanted to do that, I would just glue the triangles down the same way. I would make like a triangular, or maybe even 4, depending on how wide your cone was. But just I would basically make it so that the bottom row was still every other triangle, and it kind of stepped up. It just feel like it fits to the tree a little bit more. I don't really know why I'm saying that, but yeah, that's just the way it feels to me. I know I'm weird. Um, as we start to get closer to the top, I don't know that we're actually going to see that piece that I was telling you I folded extra, but if it comes up, we'll definitely talk about it. But as we get closer to the top, so not only is there 4 sections instead of 6, but the folds are getting much more, like the pieces are getting much closer to each other. So I'm actually ending up gluing sort of like if I tuck the left tab, I glue the right tab on top of the left tab, and that's what's actually going to hold it in place. But you can, if you've seen me, you fold it, you can fold it, you could pull it out, add the glue, and then put it back. Then easier than trying to get the glue gun in that little tip. That was just one little suggestion that I wanted to make. And when we get towards the top, we're just going to make one triangle, and we're going to wrap it entirely around, just tuck the end in. It looks really cute that way. I mean, you can always put a star or some berries or something up there if you want, but I wanted to just keep this about the technique, not necessarily about decorating it, okay? So right here, I sort of have that triangle, and I'm just wrapping it around, and you can see the very, very, very tip you can see when looking down on it, but you can't see it from the ground. Now, the one little tab that I tucked under was sticking out a bit, so just trim that if you need to. Glue down any loose pieces. Every once in a while, a piece would come off because I didn't glue it properly. So if that happens to you, don't panic. Just go back and glue it. And that's it. You know, like I said, you can decorate this if you want. String of pearls would look really pretty. You know, wooden star, wooden snowflake, all those things would look really lovely. And here they are together. I just absolutely love the way they look. Hopefully you guys do too. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in seeing how to make either one of these or the techniques. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you guys take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye!